how to not get divorced while buying a home, a step-by-step guide. Okay, so first of all, I have to say it's on every video now. If you like this, like it. If you want to subscribe, please do. We're happy to have you. And if you hate it, hate it. Now, as a mortgage lender, and I've been doing this for 15 years, I know, it's a long time. I can tell you the stuff that I have seen between couples is crazy. It's crazy. Like the amount of awkward phone calls I've been on, I mean, at this point, they're not even awkward. I just look at it, I sit back, and I'm just like, okay, I try to look at each person's perspective so I can try to figure out how to get them to a finish line. Now, realistically, if you're buying a house, you want to buy a house. You don't want to end up divorced. So we're going to go over some of the things that I think you should think about with your partner and some things to keep in mind while you're shopping, okay? So that you don't end up one of those couples that ends up divorced a month after they move in. Okay, so I was very disappointed. I used to have this terrible shirt. It said, "Happy wife, happy life." I literally wore it only to troll my husband because he hated it so much. I thought it was really funny, right? It was like kind of like, you know, it was like one of those like cowboy boots and pumpkins outside and welcome home things that you just need. Happy wife, happy life. Okay, but there's some truth to it. And I'm not saying to men, roll over, buy a house just because your wife likes it. I want to be really clear on that. You both need to like it. Yeah, I said that. I said that. Now, for all the ladies that are like, I don't care if he likes it, trust me, you do. Because if he doesn't like it, he is going to be so flipping annoying. Anytime something breaks in that house, he will remind you that you picked out that house. Okay, it goes both ways, guys. That's the thing. Like, we could all try to pretend like people aren't petty, but I've been on the phone enough to know we're all a little petty, right? And that's the thing. Like, look, if I was buying a house with my husband and he pressured me into buying a house I didn't like, I would resent the shit out of it. I would totally resent it. And I would be super passive aggressive and his life would be miserable and it would be the same. Right? And sometimes what we'll see is we'll see power dynamics in a relationship where one person says they don't like something, but the other one just steamrolls them. And this person gives up in the moment because they're so tired. But guess what, guys? They're not tired forever. No. So that's my number one tip is make sure if you're buying a house, you guys both like it. Okay. Now, if one person's sitting there every night going, hey, I'm really worried that the commute's going to be too much, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Buying a house, I don't care how much you like the kitchen. I don't care how beautiful the bathroom is or the closet is or the garage is. If your partner, okay, if your partner is having some level of apprehension or doesn't like the house, walk away now. Seriously. Otherwise, what happens is you end up calling me 6 months, a year, 2 years. Guess what? Hey, Jen, we're getting divorced. You know, I'm trying to figure out if I can buy him out, or he's trying to figure out if he can buy her out. Do we need to sell it? Can we qualify for other houses? And we see this as it's going down. So, number one, make sure that you guys both like the house. Now, let me give you a great example. We have a place in New York. When we first walked through it, I walked through it in about 2 minutes and I walked out. And I was done. I was done. I was never going to look back. And my husband was like, wait, let's talk about why you went so quick, what you didn't like. And I went through and I just went, nailed out what I didn't like. And he goes, okay, but wait, what about this or this? And then what do you think about this? Okay. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fair. Let's go look at it again. Because sometimes when we're going through houses, we're going to make snap judgments. Even people who are incredibly experienced with real estate. I walk through houses really quick because I'm trying to get a feeling. And in all honesty, the houses that I've liked the most ultimately, I didn't like the most when I walked through them. A lot of times it was my husband saying, okay, I see that you don't like that. What if we did this? Okay, so be open to your partner that you guys can have conversations like that. Just because your husband walks through the house really quick, if you love it, don't be quiet. Find out from him, hey, like, what did you not like? And then maybe you have an argument for it, maybe you don't. okay? So that's very important, number one. Number two, if one person thinks that this is going to put you in over your head and the other person doesn't, right? Don't buy it. Don't buy it. You guys need to be on the same page, or figure out how to get on the same page. There is nothing positive about financial stress in a marriage. There's nothing positive about financial stress in a relationship. There is nothing positive about financial stress. I know there's a lot of you guys watching this who are dealing with financial stress every single day. It's horrible. It's horrible. And you don't want to end up in a position where either you or your partner feels like that every day. Just the underlying stress is so bad for your health. It's so bad for your happiness. It's so bad for your future. So you really want to make sure that you guys are coming to the same page on cost. What I always advise clients is, before you get in a car with a real estate agent, before you go home shopping, can you guys please decide how much of a monthly payment you're comfortable with? And let's do your pre-approval to that. I don't want to max qualify you. I don't want you, oh my God, seriously, I've tried honey, Allegra, is it Allegra? Claritin. I'm allergic to dust. That's why you guys will see me sneeze in videos. But look, the whole point about this is, come up with what you guys want to spend per month, then let's figure out the house price. Seeing the houses online and saying, I think I can pay for, it's a different story, okay? What will ultimately make your house a benefit and not a burden is if you stick to that number that you guys have agreed to before you see a thing. It's that simple. It's that simple. Okay, so we covered number one, make sure you guys both like it. There's no steamrolling because passive aggressiveness is a thing. Number two, we talked about coming up with a budget that you both agree with before you even find out the house price, before you even start shopping. Okay. Number three is going to be honest. Oh yeah, guys. Now this is before you even get to me. So if you guys are in a relationship where you guys have completely separate finances, okay, completely separate, but you're coming together to buy a house, make sure that you both know what you're bringing to the table, okay? Because I'll hear like, oh yeah, she's gonna make the whole payment because she makes more. And then I'll hear her go, well, we're gonna split it. You know, and it's like, whoa, like, have you guys talked? Like, you know, it's not my place to play marriage counselor or partner counselor, but if he thinks that you're making the whole payment, my friend, and you think he's paying half, you guys are gonna break up. It's that simple. There's no communication. And I don't know what the deal is. There's a lot of like, I don't know, it's like a new generation where people don't talk about money. They keep everything separate. Everything's a secret. And it's so weird to me because it's like, if you're going to share a bed with someone, you should know what's in their checking account. You should. And I'm not saying that as like, you know, because people are like, oh, gold diggers say that. No, guys. If I'm going to share my bed with you and I'm going to buy a house with you, I need to know if you can afford a house. Because if you can't and I want to stay with you, I need to make sure that I make enough to support us. That's it. You guys need to understand who's going to pay the bill, okay? And you want to be on the same page as that. Credit too, you know? Sometimes I'm like, oh, hey, like, yeah, you know, I'm happy to get you guys put together. Like, what's your husband's credit score? Well, I don't know. Like at all? Well, we don't talk about it. Guys, we talk about so much stupid stuff when you're in relationships. Like, oh God, I mean, I'm thinking of like 30 stupid things my husband and I discussed today. We literally spent 10 minutes trying to decide where a piece of luggage should go, okay? If you're not talking about credit scores and money and financial planning, you guys are going to have problems down the line. You need to know where everything is, right? And sometimes people go, oh, my husband handles all that. I don't have to know about money. Girl, he could die. He could die. Then what are you gonna do? And for the guys reversing that, saying she's the breadwinner, I do nothing, I just, well, that's not fair. I'm sure you take care of something. But, you know, she's the breadwinner, I don't know anything. She could die. People die. why. You need to know what's going on. One of the worst calls I had, it was horrible. And it put me in such a shitty situation. I've had two of these. I had one where the woman was like, yeah, we want to buy a house. We want to spend $1 million, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and she's like, well, but about that. I'm like, what? She's like, I have like some stuff he doesn't know about. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, there may be a couple, $50,000 in credit card debt. I'm like, it's going to be on the application. That's the thing, guys. When you are applying together to buy a house, everything's on the application that you both see. So if you're saying to your lender, can you just not tell them about Nordstrom's and Visa and American Express? Or your guy saying to me, hey, don't tell her about the jet ski. Shh, shh, shh. No, it's not up to me. It's going to be on the application. It's all going to be laid out. So before you come to me, and look, if you guys just want to throw me into a telenovela, I'm down. Like, it can get boring sometimes, so I'm in it to win it. But at the same point, like, have the conversation before. Like, this is such basic partnership stuff that as a society, you know, we're in this weird world, right? Where like they don't teach us about money in high school. They don't teach us about money when we're kids. You could even go to a great college and not be taught. Do you know how much money how much they taught me about money at UC Santa Barbara? No required course, nothing, right? So of course a lot of people don't talk about money with their partners. Talk about money, get comfortable with it, do a budget together on Mint. It will be fun. It can be awkward at first. Like, you know, I remember my husband said to me when we were first dating, what's the most you've ever paid for a pair of boots? And I was sitting there going, what a weird question, right? Like, why are you asking me that? And ultimately he was just asking for fun. I thought he was trying to figure out like, you know, financially where my feelings were. And luckily for him, I said $200. I think if I had said 2,000, who knows? But at the same point, the key to this is have those conversations. It makes it so much better. So number one, make sure everyone likes the house. Number two, you know, you really, really want to make sure that with your partner, you guys are not getting in over your head and you guys have the same budget in mind. And number three, talk about your money before you come to a lender, because here's the thing about these applications. I can't keep secrets. It's not the way the form works. So, oh yeah, we had one where they had child support that they didn't tell the other person about. No shit. And the other person didn't even know about the kid. So lots of stuff like that. Just come clean now so that I don't have to do it for you. I will air your dirty laundry if I must, but I really don't want to with your spouse. But that's what's happened. It's all on the app. So I hope this has been helpful and not scary. I'm licensed in 48 out of 50 states to do mortgages everywhere but Rhode Island and Utah. If you guys need help with a mortgage, call me. If you guys want to sit on the phone as a couple and argue, I'm happy to sit there and play with it a little bit and help you guys find the right way to get to home. But the key is doing these three things up front will make it so that you don't have that telenovela experience.